Welcome to RetroLogic. I'm Sam Wagers here with Shannon Eno and John Cummins. But I should say my name was legally changed against my will to Puppy Chow in a game of Dokapon Kingdom. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But RetroLogic is not just a podcast, it is a whole community of retro gamers. With an active, friendly, and free Discord, we have giveaways, contests, and a whole family of retro podcasts, such as RetroGroove, all about music, On Topic Retro, which is about specific games, hosted by John, and FilmLogic, which is all about film. So there's lots to talk about, lots of cool people to hang out with there, including us hosts. Including Dan, who could not make it on the show tonight, but Dan will return, as we like to say. So, yeah, how are you guys doing tonight? Anything else happen besides John amassing more evil power in the kingdom of Dokapon, which all of us are a part of that same game. So.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to hear and see what Tim has to say on the show this week. Get the update from Tim.
Yeah, I feel like the game, while we still have a long way to go, I feel like it's pretty much over for us.
Yeah,
it's going to take a lot.
Interesting. The game plays very differently when you have all human players. They're in some ways a lot less predictable. There's a lot more mind games that go on.
Yeah. By having a ball, it's been a lot of fun. So. Yeah,
good stuff. As far as housekeeping, I mentioned the other shows. You can stay tuned for the next episode of FilmLogic. I know will be up soon. I believe those guys are recording tonight. I'm still streaming on YouTube as well, and I have a working copy of Armored Core Project Phantasma now. My previous disc would not boot. I took it to a game store, got it resurfaced, still would not boot. So I managed to find another one for a reasonable price. Actually, a bit of an upgrade. I have the manual. Manual's in bad condition. Like some of the pages are stuck together, but my old one was just a loose disc. It said tested. I mean, it was an eBay. I was taking a risk, but it was cheap. It said tested. I mean, I could complain to the seller, but I think they'd probably just say it was damaged in shipping, and you know that's part of the risk you assume buying stuff off eBay. Yeah. Unfortunately, but yeah, started playing the game, really enjoying it. So Mondays around 7:30 p.m. As well as Saturdays, I stream on YouTube at the channel Third Strongest Mole. Mondays is Armored Core right now, and Saturdays is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. I did take a little break to play some Ham Heartbreak on Valentine's Day, as is my tradition. I don't know how many more Valentine's Days it will take to beat that game. I think I'm kind of close, at least.
Nonetheless, but how do you remember what you're doing when you go back to it after you...
I don't. That's the thing. I don't. There is an in-game hint system that I forgot existed, but
ask a hamster.
You go talk to Snoozer, and he just sort of vaguely hints at where you're supposed to go. But yeah, how about you guys? Anything else you've been playing lately? I know Dragon Quest Remake.
Yeah, I think we've just been Dragon Questing for the most part.
Dragon Questing and getting ready for On Topic Retro to talk some Zelda Spirit Tracks.
That's right.
Hourglass.
Oh, yes.
Both of them.
Both DS games in one week.
Hourglass and Spirit Tracks.
The more that I play these, like, they're a lot more meaty than the Game Boy Zelda games. Yeah. So, for sure. I think my original thought was putting them together because they're tied together. Like, they're actually... not necessarily a sequel. You know, Spirit Tracks isn't a sequel. It takes place like 100 years later. There's lots of continuity.
I mean, that's a sequel for a Zelda game.
Yeah, there's a lot of continuity between the two games. I'll put it that way. Like a lot of returning characters. But But the more I started to think about it, I was like, man, I probably could have almost done an episode for each of these. Like, there's a lot to them, but I think we'll, even if it takes us a little bit longer to hash out both games, I think it'll still work good as one episode.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we won't have to rehash, I don't think, for both games, because it's a similar, it's a similar play style and stuff like that. So we won't have to spend too much time.
Time-wise, these games take a lot. They're a lot more lengthy, but a lot of that is just driving around or sailing.
Yeah. Yep.
So
lots and lots of sailing and engineering.
Locomoting.
Locomoting. There you go. More on that, though, when we record that episode.
Yeah, so stay tuned for the next On Topic Retro. In the meantime, we're going to play some Prices Retro. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
If you are playing along at home, here is how we play the Price is Retro. Each of us brings a list of 4 to 5 games, and everyone guesses on how much the total lot is worth in dollars. Whoever is closest to the actual value wins the round. Everybody has a list, everyone guesses on each other's list, and at the end, the player that wins the most rounds wins the episode. We also have our Rampage trio of AI competitors. Deus Guess Machina, the robot, who averages all of our guesses to make his own. Leonard the Dinosaur, who adds up the roughly original retail costs of each game. And Poltergeist, the ghost, who always guesses $300. Yeah, they operate as a team, so they have, as a team, defeated us a number of times. We'll see if we can keep them away and bring victory to humanity once again tonight. With that said, Shannon, would you like to present the first list?
All right. Jumping back into my classics line of Prices Retro lists. Today we're doing Game Boy Color. So these are games that are only playable on Game Boy Color, or Game Boy Color originals, I should say. So these are not games that were on Game Boy that are could also be played on regular Game Boy.
Clear carts.
How many do you got?
I have 5 of them.
Okay.
All complete in box. Because that's a lot more fun. All right. The first one is Wario Land 3. Second one is Super Mario Brothers Deluxe. Third one is Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages. The fourth one is Lufia, The Legend Returns. And rounding out the list for number 5 is R-Type DX.
Oh boy.
Sam, you going first or am I going first?
I will go first. I still am always not sure about complete in-box cartridge games. I am going to guess just a flat 600.
You went exactly where I was going, so I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to go 625.
And actually, that benefited John. Total, according to price charting, is $672.68.
Yeah, and then
that wasn't too off.
Going complete in box on cartridge games kind of kills the Dino, so he was not
it really does.
Because he only guessed 175. So,
well, eventually we're going to be moving past the cart systems, and so maybe he'll stand a chance after that. But yeah, I almost actually put Pokemon Crystal on here, but then it just quadrupled the I mean, I was like, okay, that's not even fun. So breakdown: Wario Land 3, $113.99. That was kind of surprising. I didn't really think that one would be quite that high, but apparently, yeah. Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, $69.16. That's actually the lowest on the list. Oracle of Ages, Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages, $235.33. It's one of the few Zelda games I do not have complete, unfortunately. But even loose, it's gone up there a bit. Lufia Legend Returns, $174.13. And R-Type DX, $80.07. So,
all pretty valuable still.
Yeah.
Definitely more than retail.
Yeah, you wouldn't think an R-Type game would be, for a Game Boy Color, would be, well, number one, you wouldn't necessarily think it would be all that good of a game, but it actually is. It's better than it has any right to be.
The top shelf shmups actually get really expensive, especially if you're looking at Turbo Graphics stuff.
Oh, well, yeah. That's like a shmup machine.
Right? Yeah. What else are you going to play on it? Bonk?
Maybe.
Ease. You can
Military Madness.
Okay, yeah. All right.
There's some other games out there.
Yeah.
Utopia.
Well, yeah.
There's games. I don't know how many of them are worth playing.
Games. Gomala Speed. That's a fun one. I need to play that.
I've never played that one.
I never got far in it. Anyway, I got the second list, and incidentally, mine is also Game Boy Color games.
Wow.
I have 4 of them, and they are all going to be loose.
Okay.
So the Dino has a better shot at this one, maybe.
Yeah, you're being a lot kinder to
So we have Revelations, the Demon Slayer.
Nope, he's already
the
out.
Game Boy Color. Dragon Warrior Monsters. Magi Nation. And Robopon Sun version. So these are all kind of loosely Pokemon competitors.
What was the third one you said again?
Magi Nation or Magi Nation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have that game. I don't know how it's pronounced.
So I got to go first on this one.
Yes, John is first.
I think I'm going to go 325. Just to be a little bit ahead of the Ghost.
325, okay.
All right, and I got 380.
325, 380. This might be trouble for us.
Uh-oh. Is it in between?
The total is 196.85.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah,
so
we didn't get that
Dino
one.
might have it. I know the Ghost is closer.
God, I thought that first game was worth a lot more.
You're both above the Ghost.
Yeah.
Let's see. Actually, yeah, no, the Dino has it.
Yeah, the Dino's got it. He usually winds up around
I jinxed him.
150 to 200.
Right.
He was at 140 on your lot, so yeah, he's closer than the Ghost.
Yep, so Revelations, the Demon Slayer, $69.90.
I thought that was a lot more for some reason.
I mean, that's high for a loose Game Boy Color game.
Yeah, that's about
right. Yeah,
it's
true.
not crazy. It is a game I have.
My guess is that Robopon has gone down.
It has a special Super Game Boy border as well, so that's always fun. Dragon Warrior Monsters, $34.99.
Yeah, I knew that one because I looked that one up.
Magi Nation is actually higher than I remember it being at $23.16. It was like dirt cheap when I bought it. Robopon Sun version, $68.80.
Man,
I was off on that one too.
I was thinking Robopon used to be like 150 on its own.
Yeah, both of those are about the same price. Revelations, the Demon Slayer, and Robopon. So,
wow.
Although I didn't check the other version of Robopon.
Yeah, what is the other one?
Yeah.
There's Sun version in there.
I don't see it listed. Did only one version come
actually
out?
No, you're right.
Or is that the
only one?
So there's one on the there's two versions for Robopon 2. Did like only one version?
I think yes. I think they meant to have two, and
the
only
US?
one of them ever came out.
It's just Sun version. I
think so.
That's interesting. Well, I know it was weird with like with the first Battle Network to have versions. Battle Network 3, the second version in Japan was more like a definitive edition, and then they just released them together as two versions in the USA. And then they just realized they could sell two copies of the same game to people, and they're like, we can do a Pokemon.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting.
All right.
Anyway, so we have one for the Rampage trio and one for John. So
one of us has to win. Sam
next,
to keep
so
at least,
we can tie. We can go to tiebreaker by closest guess.
Yep.
All righty. I was putting my games in the dyno real quick. Okay. So my list, having Dragon Quest 7 on the brain, is all Dragon Quest 7. So,
okay.
The first game on my list is Dragon Warrior 7 for the PlayStation, complete in box. The second game on my list is Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined for the Nintendo Switch, not Switch 2, complete in box. This one's a weird one, but it's also Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined, the Collector's Edition. This was only available through Square for the PlayStation 5, and I had to go new to get a price. So this one is new. And then the last game on my list is Dragon Quest 7 Fragments of the Forgotten Past for the Nintendo 3DS, complete in box.
Shannon guesses first this time.
How did that happen? How did I get to do it twice?
Did you... Wait. I guess first on yours.
I guessed first last time.
John guessed first on mine. Yeah.
I think you're thinking of last show, Shannon.
Must be. I guess I haven't gone first. You're right. Anyway, sorry. I'm still just totaling up here. Let's see here. Let's go 400 even.
Okay.
I don't know how much that collector's edition
we're
is.
close together. I've got 370.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how expensive that collector's edition was. But it comes with a cool ship in a bottle, so I know it's not too cheap.
And a slime plushie.
Yeah.
So the total of my lot is $703.65.
Okay.
Oh man.
So
we did not win against the AI.
Did you guys both? No, you guys.
Well, we're still by closest guess, though. I would still lose. Or Shannon would still lose because Shannon's the highest guess.
370. Yeah, but Shannon's going to win because the 300.
Yeah, the round, but not the game.
Yes. Yeah.
At least we kept the Rampage from winning. Or did we? Did they get the closest?
I don't think we did.
It's going to be down to either mine, which I was $47 off.
Oh, okay. Because it was what, 140 on mine? So yeah, that's off by 56.85.
Yep. So yeah, I barely squeaked out the win on that one.
Victory for humanity.
So I'll do the rundown real quick though. Dragon Warrior 7 for the PlayStation has gone up. It's $95 now for a complete in box.
Wow.
I didn't realize it had gotten that high.
Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined for the Nintendo Switch is $54.47, so it's just a little bit less than its new price. This is the crazy one. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined Collector's Edition for PS5 is $500, and it's because it's sold out, and the only way you can buy one now is from scalpers. So,
how much was it initially?
$250.
I wonder. That's exactly what I put. I guessed.
Yeah, it was,
crap.
It was $250, but
yeah, the collector's editions are tricky too, because I just, unless you know specifically, just hearing collector's edition, I'm like, that could be, you know, the exact same thing in a steel book, or that could be, you know.
Yeah, I only knew because I knew exactly what was in it.
I think it just comes with
go.
It either doesn't come with the game at all, or it comes with a digital copy of the game. I can't remember which one it is.
It came with, well, at least the Switch 2 version came with the Switch 2 game key card.
Key card, yeah.
Yeah, as part of it.
And then the last one is Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past for the Nintendo 3DS. This one, complete in box, is $54.23, which it's gone down a little bit. I think this used to be like a $75 game for a while. 8 was over $100 for a while on 3DS.
Yeah.
Yep. Now that these are being remade, this might be driving the price down.
I feel like the 7 had on the 3DS had gone down a little bit even beforehand.
Yeah,
it's been slowly going down. 8 has kind of fluctuated. Like it was, you know, over like 120 at one point. I feel like briefly, and then it dropped down, and it was like 100 for a while, and then it went down slightly. I was starting to see, or at least loose, it went down.
Yeah,
and then it started going back up. So
yeah, it's hard to predict sometimes how the legacy games are affected by re-releases or even new releases. Sometimes that surges interest, but sometimes that actually lowers demand because there's another way to play it.
Yeah, and I think in the case of 7 here, with it already being a remake, I would kind of think it would drive the price down, because there wouldn't be any. Now there's no reason to buy that remake. You just basically obsoleted that remake there because you just remade it again.
Well, other than the fact that the 3DS has some content that is locked to the 3DS version.
Gotta use those Street Pass features, man.
So,
well, and I don't know. I honestly think that I'm kind of glad they did 7 though, because 8 on 3DS was already better, like so much better.
Well, you took away just all the load times. It helped.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because 8 was PS2 and it was a chugger.
That chugged. That was pushing the PS2.
Price is Retro. So John takes the game.
Took the win.
I don't know where our season standings are even at now. I feel like I have not been performing well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through and read.
I started strong, but yeah, I haven't been doing it.
The only ones I have logged right now are my win on the 13th of January, and then Moses won last time.
I feel like Dan won in there.
Again. I think Dan won once in between somewhere. Yeah. I just didn't have it listed in here. I think I forgot to throw it in.
Stay tuned. All right, we have our other games as well. Shannon, do we have a trivia for tonight?
You know what? I can grab one real quick. I have them right here. Let me just pull one out here. See what we get. All right. Kratos faces off against which of the 7 wonders of the ancient world brought to life at the start of God of War 2?
Oh, I have zero experience with God of War. So what are the 7 wonders?
I was going to say, think about the 7.
And
think of the 7
which
wonders.
Which of them would make sense to fight? Probably not the Library of Alexandria. Probably not the Hanging Gardens. It's probably, the Sphinx?
No, I don't think so.
You could fight a Sphinx.
Yeah, but it's not going to be... I don't think
is the Sphinx actually one of the 7 wonders? I thought the pyramids were.
Is it? Actually, yeah, because I think the Sphinx is actually much newer than the pyramids.
As I said,
I know, weird to say, but
well, true. It's also they're in Olympus, so I don't think it's.
Is there a Greek ancient wonder of the world? I don't
is
know.
The Colosseum a wonder?
Yeah, but you fight in the Colosseum. You don't fight the Colosseum. The Colossus of Rhodes.
You are correct.
Final answer.
You got it. Yeah.
There we go.
Colossus of Rhodes.
History. I know some history.
That's right.
I had to steer us in the right direction.
That's right.
Get us away from Egypt.
At least I didn't just confuse, God of War Greek mythology with Kid Icarus Greek mythology and say Eggplant Wizard.
Right. Now that would be cool. That might get me into the God of War games.
I would watch. I would play that game.
That's right.
Kratos versus Eggplant Wizard.
Yep. All right. What is the name of the yellow bird in Angry Birds?
Yellow?
No.
I mean, Angry Birds, I guess at this point could be retro.
I thought they were named by their colors.
Well, red is, but what is? Are they going like? Is the one in the movie the same as the game?
I have no clue. I've never seen the game. I've never seen the movie.
Now I can't remember. I know the black one is Bomb. I can't remember.
Bomb, red, and
it makes sense. The name
Clyde.
Makes sense to what the yellow bird does, for what it's worth.
At least fast. So, yeah,
sorta. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's not how I was thinking about what he does. But
he accelerates like whenever you touch him in the game. But I don't remember what is. Yeah, I have no clue.
Inky, Pinky, Blinky.
No, it is Chuck.
Chuck. Okay, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, it is going off of the same as the movies. That is his name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess technically you're chucking,
kind of chucking
at things. Yeah,
you don't chuck the other ones though.
Well, you do, but the yellow one, mid-flight, you can touch it.
Tap
and he speeds up.
Yeah, like a straight line.
Okay.
He accelerates and he does more damage.
Interesting. I do have a Spot the Fake list. I wasn't going to have one, but I made a list like 15 minutes before the call started.
Nice.
So I have 3 rounds. Once again, 5 in each round. I've found that to be the sweet spot. And the theme this time is based on Animal Crossing. These are all the default catchphrases of Animal Crossing villagers. So the little random words that they just like to say. Obviously, you can suggest new ones for your favorite neighbors over time, but these are the ones they will have when you first meet them.
Wow! All right.
And as before, one of them is fake. The other 4 are real. So, round 1, we have honk honk. That's 2 honks. Number 2, wonk. That is in all caps, by the way. Number 3, pronk. Number 4, bonk. And number 5, honk with 4 O's.
I feel like I've seen. I feel like I've seen the honk honk and the honk
with 4 O's.
With 4 O's. What were the second and third one again?
Number 2 and number 3 are wonk and pronk.
I feel like I've seen wonk too. I'm going to go pronk.
I'll go wonk.
Wonk and pronk. So the fake is bonk.
Oh my gosh.
Wonk is the catchphrase of Axel, who I think is an elephant. I'm trying to remember. I made this list 30 minutes ago and I'm trying to remember. Pronk is the catchphrase of Zell, the gazelle. Honk is Nosegay, the anteater, and honk honk is Pietro the clown sheep.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. Better luck on round 2. We have another set. Pockets, Nutmeg, Human, Gumdrop, and Bagworm.
Bagworm is too obvious. Yeah. Say the list one more time.
Pockets, Nutmeg, Human, Gumdrop, Bagworm.
I'm going to go Human. I don't ever remember anything calling me Human. I swear I remember Gumdrop and Nutmeg.
Yeah, but Yeah, I'll go Human too. That does sound like the odd.
Human is the catchphrase of Boomer.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Well,
What's
assuming
Boomer?
I got these from the Animal Crossing wiki, so assuming it's accurate. Boomer is a penguin. Penguin in like
I don't remember
a flight
Boomer.
suit.
Huh.
Bagworm is the fake, which for some I don't know why, but I changed one of my villagers thanks to this like really early on, and for some reason I thought it was hilarious.
It just sounded too
just such
too
a random
obvious.
word.
Yeah. Steered me away.
That's the fun of it, and I still remember that to this day. That was like OG GameCube Animal Crossing, and I still remember that for some reason.
Wow.
So final round 3. We have It's a Me, My Dude, Moo Dude, Dude, and Lil Dude.
Would they do It's a Me? It's a Me. Would they do a Mario catchphrase in Animal Crossing?
I don't think so.
Nintendo, do a Mario catchphrase. You decide.
I feel like it's the one, but actually, I think maybe it could be My Dude.
Yeah, the rest of all the dude ones, that's the one I wasn't sure about.
I'm gonna go My Dude.
I guess
My Dude. What's your guess?
I guess I'll do It's a Me.
It's a Me. Okay, It's a Me is the catchphrase of Alfonso.
Okay.
My Dude is the fake. I really wanted to find 4 other dudes, but there's only 3 of them. So yeah. I wanted the whole list to be dudes, and then I just saw It's a Me, and I was like, that one's funny.
My Dude made me just think about how many times Dan has tried to convince us to name our
name
Link.
My Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said.
It fits right in with all the other dudes.
Yeah.
So, it's a pretty natural one.
The one.
So there you go. One out of 3. Not too bad.
The first dude, I know for sure.
You.
Like I remember hearing.
Yeah.
And then dude sounds like something that one of them would say too.
Yep, that's Cube, another penguin.
Yeah, we had him on our island, so that one I knew sounded familiar. So, wow.
All right, so that was Spot the Fake.
But I didn't do so well.
And that's it for this week's games. So stay tuned. We'll take a short break and come back with our show topic, which is about the re-release even of Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green on the Switch. Welcome back, and Shannon had to dip out, so it's just John and I now. But we have a kind of hot topic, a lot of discussion about it over in our Discord, which is the Fire Red and Leaf Green digital re-release coming to Nintendo Switch, which is $20 and appears to be pretty bare bones as far as ports go, especially ports of Game Boy Advance games. and might not actually even integrate to Pokemon Home. Yeah. So a lot of people are upset.
Yeah, I don't think this was the announcement that everyone was thinking they were going to get with 30th anniversary Pokemon stuff. I mean, I understand we still have the Pokemon companies reporting, so their direct style presentation that will come out later. What is that? This
we're
week
still expected to get a new generation of Pokemon this year, right?
Expected, I guess, but it's not been,
but not confirmed.
Not confirmed. Yeah, I think everyone's just kind of thinking that it's going to be this year, but like I said, there's supposed to be a Pokemon Presents or whatever. I think it's later this week, maybe, or early next week.
Yeah, and Pokemon is
27th.
These days. Pokemon as a series, especially as a game series, these days is no stranger to disappointed fans, shall we say. Even wider as a brand. I mean, you talk about the stuff that happens with Pokemon cards now.
Oh, the cards are horrible right now.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I've always been somebody who doesn't take it too hard, but I'm not going to say this is a good idea. I think I was just looking at my own comment. I kind of see this as exchanging a little bit of customer goodwill for some extra money. Because I think for as many people as are upset, I think a lot of those same people will buy it. They're just going to buy it while complaining. And I think the effect of that is more of a long-term one, where it is damaging their brand to an extent. It is maybe keeping it from selling as well as it might. There's no real rules to game prices at the end of the day. The development cost is already paid for. Now, obviously, there's additional cost to bringing it to the Switch, updating it, whatever additional features they do add. That is work that you have to pay people to do as a game developer. You have to pay your own employees, and we get that. But the weird thing is, like, even individual projects don't have to be profitable. I mean, we see this with, Microsoft has just kind of sunk money into all sorts of stuff. And they kind of keep Game Pass afloat because Microsoft is huge. Yep. And they can just do that in the hopes that one of those projects will suddenly, blow up and be the next big thing. So there, it's an intersection of a lot of stuff that's just going on in business, a lot of stuff that's going on in games, where we've kind of been destabilized. I know people were very used to the standard price point, and I think this is one of the things people really miss about the Virtual Console is that it was essentially a standardization to price point. Yet even then, and I brought this up when everybody was talking about it in Discord, there were exceptions.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo games on Virtual Console were 800 Nintendo points. Remember Nintendo points?
Yep.
Except if it was Earthbound, then it was 1,000. Because they just knew. They knew people wanted Earthbound badly enough, they would pay an extra $2.
Yep.
And I complained, and I paid the extra $2
and then you bought it,
to get Earthbound on my Wii U. Now, I look at this and I'm like, I wish it was just $2 extra. Because I think my expectation for what I know about this is probably $10. And that's being nice. That's being like, yeah, it's Pokemon Company. They're not going to give us a good deal.
Well, I feel like,
but $10 is still a lot for a Game Boy Advance, a single Game Boy Advance game.
I still feel like if they would have met us in the middle, I don't think that there would have been half the complaining. Like if this would have been a $15 game, I think they.
And at the end of the day, $20 is not a lot for a game, right? And if you just look at it from that perspective, I think the thing is anything else, any other game that wasn't Pokemon, would it be $20? I'm actually trying to remember, because there is, you compare this to, say, the Mega Man Battle Network collection, which is, I know they like to say it's 10 games, it's 6 games. But that's 6 Game Boy Advance games for what? It's not even full price. It's like $40 for the 2 of them.
Yeah, but Mega Man's not Pokemon.
No, but it was pretty big, and it has multiple versions, and that's something I think would have been very it would have made it easier to swallow if they just did $20 and you get both versions.
Yeah.
And maybe even the ability to trade with yourself. Something.
Yeah, these are going to come out and they're going to be identical to the original game from the gate. As we talked about, they seem to have kind of rolled back the initial announcement of them being integrated in with home. There's no telling if that might be a future patch in at some point, but they did remove it from the digital listing, that compatibility. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. So once you do that, this is the Game Boy Advance game just playing on your Switch for $20.
Yeah, and I think the other obvious point, which a lot of people thought is why isn't this just on NSO? And I think people have been talking about this for a while, like conspicuously absent from the Game Boy, even just red, blue, yellow. And I think home was always the answer to that. Was like, well, there's probably not an easy way to integrate something from Nintendo Switch Online app to Pokemon Home, or even really to do, now it can do multiplayer, but it never really integrated the other player's data the way that Pokemon does. So things like trading, things like Pokemon Home, it's like, okay, you probably do want some kind of standalone download.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, does this need to be a $20 standalone release? Or, could this be something, at this point, we don't expect it from Pokemon releases, but something that's just free for NSO subscribers, even as a standalone app. Obviously, they didn't go that route. Now, one thing I just remembered, another Game Boy Advance game that I bought as a standalone release, albeit on sale, because I was just thinking of it and curious how much its actual retail price was Yggdra Union. That's a Game Boy Advance game with a standalone release, and it actually is $24.99. Now, it is currently on sale 60% off for $9.99. I think that's the price I bought it at. It's on my backlog. I haven't touched it. So it's not like this kind of price point is really without precedent. Because, again, these are Game Boy Advance games. I think because they're Gen 1 remakes, it's a little bit easier to say, they really shouldn't be. If they had done this for Pokemon Red and Blue, and they're like $20, I think that would be a little bit more absurd. But then there is that question of does that actually matter anymore? Old tech is old tech. Should a Game Boy Advance game be more expensive than a Super Nintendo game? Really? I don't. We're not paying per kilobyte on these things exactly. It's all kind of low data. I think the strongest argument that Game Freak could make here is additional features, but there don't seem to be very many.
No, I think when it all comes down to it, the Pokemon Company knows how valuable these games are in the secondhand market. And I know we can, maybe look at that as not being as ethical as a business practices you want to be looking at whenever you're pricing your games, but it's still something that they all know that those games are selling for $130, just for a loose copy of either one of those games. I think they're both around 130 right now. When they look at that and then they go to release their game, they're going to say, well, $20 is nothing, compared to what you would have to pay if you wanted to play this game on an original, on a Game Boy Advance with original hardware. So part of me thinks that that has to be a weighing factor whenever they're looking at this, whenever they're trying to, Pokemon Company is a company. They're going to try to maximize profit as much as possible. So they're going to give us the thing that takes the least amount of work to put out, and they're going to charge us the most amount that they can that they know we'll still pay for it.
Yeah, and that's really the main trade-off in terms. Like I said, there's no real rules to game pricing. I think we got used to this very stable environment where, AAA games were $60 for a very long time. We're already back in kind of the Wild West because it's like, oh, Mario Kart World's $80. And ultimately, if they overprice, they can always lower the price.
Yes.
Down the line if it's not selling. Now, we don't see Nintendo first-party games do that very often, but they could. People will never respond well to raising the price after, especially for a digital game. Hardware might be going up. Some people think it will because of, just materials availability.
Well, and as you were saying, even if there were rules to pricing these things, our Pokemon Company would be able to break all those rules because their games don't even follow a traditional, demand, price and demand. Because if you look at how the value of Pokemon games have increased over the years, they've only gone up in value, but they don't make sense because there's tens of millions of them out there. So it's not a scarcity that's driving the demand of the game. It's just everybody wants one, which also goes back to that they can charge $20.
Well, if
this.
demand is truly that high, then yes. Ultimately, it's a question of how many sales do we lose by increasing the price, and would that outweigh the higher profit margin we get by it? Now, there is something to be said for playing the long game and saying, you know what, we want to continue to build our brand. We want people to know we make really high quality games. We want people to think highly of our games so that they will continue to buy games from us long into the future. I think what we see particularly from Pokemon is this idea that, like, we've hit peak. Pokemon is as popular as it will ever be. And so let's just turn that popularity into cash. And I think it is also part of a wider economic trend. It's not just restricted to gaming, but you look at what's happening in a lot of consumer products or services, things like theme parks, things like movies, a lot of this kind of more mature market. What is happening is they are, instead of the older way of increasing profits, which was to increase production and market aggressively and sell to more people, sell at a attractive low price to more and more people by basically saturating supply and marketing your product, making sure people want it, is to sell premium products to the most dedicated fans.
Yep.
And this is actually, I mean, like, long-term reckoning for, like, things don't look good for the film industry, best I can tell. I'm not an expert. But you could argue that this has been happening ever since the theaters started moving to the comfy seats with the recline, because your capacity for your theater went down.
Oh, yeah.
Your ticket prices went up. And because they knew at that point they weren't filling those old seats. So instead they said, well, let's focus on people who are willing to pay more for a better experience.
100%.
And we see that happening in gaming across a lot of things, with especially things like pro system hardware, high-end PCs, pricey DLC and cosmetics and battle passes and all that. Versus the older model, which was like, let's just make a really fun game and try to sell it to as many people as we can at a low attractive price.
Oh, and in gaming, it works against itself in the way that, before, kind of how you were saying, movie theaters had so many seats, but they've now reduced the capacity of theaters. With gaming, you're asking people to do this, but the market's still super saturated. There's so many things that are coming out daily, so many games that you can pick and choose from. That a lot of games, just get forgotten as soon as they come out. Nobody plays them.
But not Pokemon. Everybody remembers
Pokemon. But yeah, so they, in that situation, there's so much out there, and they're still expecting you to, kind of go for that premium part of it. And I think that we're kind of hit a point as an economy where that's just not feasible for a lot of people anymore. So, and I mean, with gaming being a hobby, it's usually the first thing that kind of gets cut at whenever you have to have money.
Yeah.
So we'll see if people decide to kind of vote against this with their wallets, or if they feel like that $20 is too much, they'd rather have it for coffee later or whatever comes down the road. But $20 seems to be the set price. We'll just have to see if this is an anomaly or if this is the trend for Pokemon. Are we going to continue to get more things down the road in this manner?
I mean, I look at this and I'm not tempted to buy in the least, but me when it comes to remakes, and we're talking about a re-release of a remake.
Yeah, this is not even a remake
here.
This is just
I actually don't know that I've played Fire Red Leaf Green before. I've obviously played Red version and Yellow version. I've played Ruby and Sapphire, which are the Gen 3 core games. So I don't know. And that's the interesting, I guess, wrinkle to this too, is they put out a FAQ to kind of get out in front of some of probably anticipated negative response. And I think one of them was, why haven't you released Red and Blue? And I think they just said, like, this is, the definitive version of that world, that Pokemon journey. Yeah. So we thought people would like this better. I think that's interesting.
They have
as well,
in a way, done that with Hey You, Pikachu, and Eevee.
So. Yeah, a full-on remake kind of thing.
Yeah,
which is very different though, because of how everything works in that, with the different catching mechanics. It's not totally different though. Yeah, I don't know. I say this every time they remake another Pokemon game. I don't feel like I need remakes of Pokemon. It's one of those series that I view as entirely iterative.
Like, they could just keep adding on.
I don't really feel a need to revisit the old games, except just because I have them. Like, I don't know. Are people playing Pokemon games for the plot? Are people playing Pokemon games for
the meta?
Now, I say that. I remember, I think it was back when we were starting the show. I remember playing through Red on 3DS Virtual Console. And I was kind of surprised by how much I enjoyed it, simply because the game moves a lot faster than modern Pokemon.
Yeah.
And particularly with like Gen 1, there's a lot of difference in like balance. You know, you go back to when Ghost type effectively had no weaknesses.
Yeah.
And
structurally there's a lot of kill changes. Moves.
You could do the what is it? You could X accuracy guillotine and just kill everything. And you know, special was a single stat. Even going back to Gen 3, this is before the special physical split where attacks. This is back when special and physical attack was used based on the type of move, not based on the specific move, but just what type it was.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of differences, but I do consider them the kind of thing that's a little bit hard to go back to more than anything.
Yeah, they're definitely not changes that I think anyone would pick if they had the choice over, you know, the other ones.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, again, I'm clearly not the target market, because when people were like, oh, I hope we get Gen... What Gen haven't they remade yet? 5?
Yeah,
is that what 5. We're up to?
Yeah,
I'm like, why? Why do we need a remake of Black and White? And I guess maybe it's because there's a lot of people who have never played it and it's expensive now.
Well, and I think actually, yeah, I guess Black and White is a little expensive. I think the sequels are even more expensive, but I think the biggest reason why people were expecting it is because all the groundwork's been done, right? They did Diamond and Pearl, so they could potentially kind of do Black and White in that same art style and you reuse those assets potentially.
Well, and these are the games that started that. This was the first time they remade an old Pokemon. And I guess it did really well. Again, I never bought it. I'm so not committed to Pokemon that I usually skip every other generation. So
I feel like
now the last two I got, but I never got the DLC.
Yeah, I didn't either.
For Shield or for Violet.
Violet and Scarlet.
I'm like struggling to remember which Pokemon games are which.
So the Leaf Green, Fire Red remakes are actually probably one of the better ones to play, just because there was such a stark difference between Gen 1 and Gen 3, even graphically. They just feel better.
Is it? Honestly, I was always surprised going back. Even Gold and Silver felt like a step up.
Yes.
From like just the sprite quality.
Quality for
sure.
A
lot of those behind the back sprites, you look at Venusaur and you're like, what am I looking at? Is that an amoeba? Like, you can't even make out like where the plant stops and where the frog thing begins.
Yeah, it's I mean, Gen 1 was whenever they, you know, it was an uncertain entity that it was going to actually be successful. So I think they put the least amount of effort into making everything work just to get something out there, because that game was massive for the time. And then Gold and Silver gave them the ability to kind of go back in and refine it. But yeah, no, Gold and Silver is a crazy leap for same generation hardware, you know, between those two gens. Having night day cycle, you know, real time stuff. And, those are also probably some of the largest Pokemon games, because it also included the Kanto region inside of it.
Yeah, so why'd they need to remake Kanto?
Yeah,
just add Kanto to existing games.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, no, I'm probably going to buy these mainly just so that my son and I can play through it. We played whenever the Virtual Console games came out, which I had to go back and confirm that actually happened. I couldn't remember if these were separate releases on 3DS as well, not tied to Virtual Console. They were tied to Virtual Console, but they also got the Earthbound Tax. These were also 1,000-point games for Game Boy games, which is even more steep because I think Game Boy games are only 600, right? Or 500?
I'm going to say 500. I know NES was 500.
Yeah, I think Game Boy and NES were treated the same. Yeah, so this was a double the price increase.
Yep. I think Earthbound Beginnings was 1,000 as well. Yeah. For what it's worth, it was an NES game.
So whenever those games released on Virtual Console for 3DS, my son and I played through Red and Blue back then. So we're going to do it again with the remakes, I think. If he has time. He's a lot more busy now that he's a teenager. But, yeah, I mean, am I disappointed that they're $20? Yeah, I mean, slightly. It could be worse. Like I said, whenever there were rumors of this thing rolling out, I was kind of dreading the fact that this might be like another expansion type thing to NSO that I was going to have to pay more every year for. Because that would be worse.
Oh yeah,
that would be worse.
And honestly, my probably hot take that would maybe even make some people mad. I think I would rather pay $20 for just a GBA port than pay $70 for a remake of a remake.
Yes, that too. Like if they wanted to do a remake of Leaf Green and Fire Red for the Switch with like updated graphics, like just give me the $20 port at that point. I'm not paying $70 or $80. They might charge even more.
But I mean I'm pretty consistent in that. I have no problem with fairly bare bones ports or emulator in a box type re-releases if they are priced accordingly. This is asking a little more than expected. It's okay to complain about that. It's okay to not buy it if you don't want it. It's okay to buy it when it comes on sale. I just don't actually have really strong opinions about it either way.
Yeah, like I said, I think the most upset that I would have been is if they were like, well, this is going to be a new tier and it's going to be $10 more a year for Pokemon tier, and we're going to add all the classic games to it or something like that, over time. Because then it's another, because I'm don't really have any interest in playing Ruby and Sapphire again or Diamond and Pearl.
Too much water.
It's just, I don't know. I don't have the nostalgia for those games as I do the original 2 gens. And like I said, then I'd be stuck paying. I've never went down or stopped.
I mostly played a whole lot of Gen 2 and Gen 3. And I would play Gen 2 again. I probably wouldn't play Gen 3 again.
Yeah, like I said, I grew up Gen 1. That was that's where I started, and
I started with 1, but I think by the time I got gold, I was like, I don't want to play. Well, actually, there's another reason for that, and that's because I lost my childhood copy of Pokemon Red. I brought it somewhere, and because it was huge back in the day. I think we had like a Pokemon club,
just taking it everywhere,
and I think I just lost it, or some other kid stole it, or whatever.
It's a bad day,
and I never found it, but I still had gold. So I played that, and I mean, I would play that game over and over. I would like have the same Pokemon on my team every time.
I would like to see a study to try to figure out the commonalities between versions that people picked, like from one generation to the other. So you went the exact opposite that I went for the first 2 gens. I was a blue, and then I bought silver. How many people went that route versus went from red to gold? And then you could even keep going.
I'm probably really weird because I had red in Gen 1, but I had Sapphire in Gen 3. So what does that say? Did I regret my decision?
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe some of it is, would you think the starter Pokemon?
I mean, the main reason I had red is because my brother had blue first.
Yeah.
So I had to get the different one.
That
was kind of a decision I was pushed into. But it is kind of a post justification. I feel like to this day, one of the main reasons Growlithe is one of my favorite Pokemon is because you could only catch him in red.
Because he was in red.
And it was like, haha, you can't get this.
Yeah, if I remember right, I ended up with blue for the same reason. My cousin had bought Pokemon like a week earlier, and he got red, which made no sense because he always picked Blastoise as a starter. Which
there's no rule you can't.
Well, I know, but it's just like if you like Blastoise, you could have bought the game that had him on it, and then it would have meant more, I guess. But so he had red, and then I ended up buying blue, and then I always picked Bulbasaur as my starter, so it didn't matter. That wasn't an option for me here in the States. There was no green version yet. I had to wait till this remake came out to get my green version. But yeah, it's kind of a weird to think about, who picked what down the line. It might be, maybe it's a poll we do in the Discord and see if it correlates to anything. We can tie it together.
or the starters. Which starter you pick if you're...
Hey, we could do both.
Die-hard fire starter.
Which game did you buy? Which starter did you pick?
For me, it changed. For a long time, I would just always pick the water starter. Back when you knew you were gonna need surf.
Yeah, that's
because especially the way those old games was structured, a lot of the other water types you couldn't catch until you already had surf and needed it.
It's kind of the same. I know a lot of people that, without knowing the importance of those moves taking up a slot, people would get Charizard and then teach him cut and fly. They're kind of making them their...
Back when you couldn't remove them.
Yeah, your either. HM bot character that could just do everything, and it's like you don't realize what you've done. To be
fair, in Gen 1, like most Pokemon learn only garbage moves, and cut is the best move some things can learn.
Well, I was gonna say some of those things, like Fly's not a horrible move either. In comparison to some other things you can learn in Pokemon, or what you might have automatically learned.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing too. That's another thing that Gen 2 gave us, where you can change those things, and like you can the Pokemon breeding, and just like it was like a whole nother world that they opened up with Gen 2.
Which does justify more doing a remake, like introducing that back to the original game.
That's what I was gonna say. If you're gonna play any remakes for Pokemon, the most valuable one is probably Gen 1 remake, just because Gen 1 was so much.
I don't know. People love Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
Yeah, but
you can have them follow you.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's not as big of a... Gold and Silver were already really fantastic games that didn't really need a remake because the quality of life stuff wasn't as big of a deal. Gen 1 is rough. Like when you go back to the original game from what you've been playing recently, those games are like, you can't do anything in those games. You're fighting Pokemons and that's it.
Yep.
No extra stuff. I mean, you're lucky you got the bike. And then once you do get the bike, like it's not even that useful for a while. And there's no running.
But there is a bike.
Yeah.
I don't think you can even map it to select. That's what I always do.
No, in the first game, I don't think you can map it to select.
Yeah, you got to scroll through all your items and find the bike.
Find the bike again, yes. That's what I'm saying.
And depending how far you're going to go, it might be a waste of time.
I do think you could move. You could sort items using the select button.
Yes.
So you could move
because
the bike.
You want to if you were doing the missing no thing, you had to put the item in the right spot.
Yes.
For what you wanted to duplicate your rare candy or whatever else.
I don't think that you could put the bike to select, but you could move it up to the top of your item list, so you don't have to find it every time. But when you're a kid and you don't know that, you're just always scrolling through your items looking for what you need.
Yeah, we all thought Mew was under the truck.
Exactly. So yeah, no.
We all thought that if you pressed B at just the right time when the Pokeball poofed, that it would always catch.
Yes.
And that you were just doing it wrong if it didn't work.
Oh, the simpler Pokemon days. I mean, there wasn't even.
I've
3 types.
I've said this before. It's actually surprising Pokemon is not as ingrained in me. I enjoy Pokemon a lot still. I do still like it. I even like the more recent games. But I was 6 years old when Pokemon hit the States. I was in the 1st grade. So it was literally like the first shared cultural touchstone of my life. When I was like, you went to school and everybody was all about Pokemon.
Well, did you have Did you have a Game Boy Color already?
I had a Game Boy Pocket.
Game Boy Pocket, okay. So you still had to have a cable.
Yeah.
Because Game Boy Color made it to where you didn't have to have a cable. You could use the IR sensor on top to...
Yeah, we weren't that fancy.
Yeah. I was just saying, I started out with a brick, and I had the... We had the link cable only for Pokemon.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I feel like at this point too, there is a lot of people's impressions are probably colored by what they think of everything else Pokemon Company's been doing, and the disappointments have started to pile up as well.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, I feel like the most recent games have been some of the best Pokemon games. I don't disagree that they could be a lot better. But I haven't even touched the like Legends stuff. That just doesn't appeal to me.
I liked Arceus. I bought the new one on sale, but I haven't touched it yet, and I don't know when that will happen. Like, it definitely isn't pulling me. Like, when Arceus came out, I was like excited to play. Like, it looked like it was more up my alley, like being able to see what I wanted to catch, and the, learning, going through the story, the historical part of Pokemon is always kind of interesting. Hearing people talk about ZA doesn't really get me going to want to play it. Especially hearing Tim like go on about change. He's just all about his outfits and stuff. And I was like, that's the part of Pokemon that I don't really play. I'm sure there's a good game there, and I'm sure once I finally get to it, I'll enjoy it. But I don't know. I wasn't super like.
The weird thing for me is they keep like reinventing these like raid battles for multiplayer.
Yeah,
and they just seem to never work.
They get worse. I think we could thank Pokemon Go for that.
Oh well, I mean, these days the thing I play the most is probably the TCG Pocket, but I've kind of stopped actually playing the game. I just open my packs.
I fell off completely. I stopped even. I was so like for the first probably 7 or 8 expansions, I was getting them all. And then one day I was just like, it was whenever they introduced that one expansion that was like nothing but the old cards. And it was like a huge pack. There was like 200 something cards in it, but they were all like previous cards. That's where I fell off. And that was probably
there's a couple fun things, but really what got to me is that they're just I think because they prioritized in the design making sure matches were short and the decks are small, there just isn't really a lot of room to get creative with the deck building.
No.
And that's what I like about card games is deck building.
They definitely oversimplify.
Not even being super competitive, but just like making stupid stuff work, even if it's a stretch. And it's so depressing to try to do that in this game because it's like you have to cut like your professor's research and your rare candy just to fit other stuff in, and it's like,
and then once you cut those out, you're going to lose. Yeah.
Well, the whole game is pretty much settled on the starting hand.
A lot of times,
failing that, settled on coin flips. So I'm no stranger to luck based gameplay, but I just wish there was like the whole point of having like turns is that you can kind of mitigate the risk or plan to take risks, and it's like it's really it feels like you're playing poker. It's like I got rare candy in my stage 2. That's a royal flush. I win.
Yep, you're gonna take over. The especially with the game being so oversimplistic, they basically made it to where you have so many copycat decks. Everyone's using the same deck, so you'll get to.
To be fair, that's every digital card game now.
Yeah.
You play Hearthstone, it's the same way. The internet exists within like 6 hours of somebody figuring out what the best deck is. Everybody's playing it.
Well, you only have to get beat by it once, and then you're like, oh, I should be doing that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like if the game was a 60 card deck, I think you would see a lot more variation because people would have ways to counter it.
Yep.
There's some decks that you just can't counter. Like if they get, like you said, if they get the right hand right off the bat, it's game over. You're not coming back.
Well, there's multiple decks like that. So at that point, it doesn't matter what you're playing. It just matters how lucky your opening hand is.
Yeah. It's true. But yeah,
a couple interesting cases where you both get really strong opening hands, and then you have like an interesting decision or two to make.
Yeah, that's probably the best matches. But those are very few and far between. As soon as like every time I get matched up against somebody that has a really good hand, I have like the worst hand of life, and I can't even get going.
You just move on to the next match. That's all you can do.
Yeah, the good thing about that is that the same rule still exists that if you don't have any Pokemon on your bench, you lose. So at least I lose very quick. They'll like knock out my only Pokemon that I have.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, it's a mobile game. I think having matches be really quick was a priority for them. And I think there is an appeal to that. It just, for somebody who wants something more out of it, that's all you get. And in some ways that is, well, it's interesting. Pokemon as a whole has a very interesting relationship with the more competitive side, because it actually has catered a little more to it in terms of the main games with, features that may, like you can actually like correct for IVs these days, which is something that, esoteric knowledge that was a huge time commitment to get like a perfect IV Pokemon before. It's really easy to do now. Hyper training exists and all that. Being able to, have the move tutor. Like back in the day, like prepping a competitive team was
work,
a huge time commitment.
Yeah.
And it's very easy now.
It's very easy.
But at the same time, like, does that matter at the larger scale? And this is a thing for a lot of games, really, is the casual versus competitive divide can be very, very strange in terms of how do you actually get people into the game where they care about any of that stuff.
Yeah. For sure. I think we're cool.
Or does that matter to Pokemon? I don't know.
Yeah, with Pokemon, you never know. There's just so many. I mean, you get going with the competitiveness of players, and then some players just they go through the main story and they're done. That's kind of where I'm at with Pokemon now. Is I just enjoy playing through what they give me, and then I'm usually ready to put it up and go to the next thing.
Yeah. The thing that usually doesn't land for me is there's several different gimmicks they add every time that I'm just like, why is this here? Like Pokemon-Ami, or like the making sandwiches.
Yes.
Or even just like more of a core mechanic like Gigantamax or Mega Evolution, or what's the thing in the
terrestrialized.
Yeah, like, and they're so similar to each other too. I guess they did bring Megas back, which irritates me even more because that was my least favorite one, was Mega Evolution, because only some special favored by God Pokemon can do it. And Charizard gets 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of course he does. Yeah, I don't know. I never liked Mega Evolution. That's my Pokemon hot take. Mega Evolution is dumb, and Mega Evolved Pokemon look like Digimon, and I don't like it.
They do. They transform into Digimon.
They Digivolve. That's what they should have called it. Digivolving. That's Pokemon, though. I don't know. I don't know if any of that justifies the price of Fire Red and Leaf Green. Any closing thoughts? Any insight from our community that I missed in that whole discussion?
No, I think the community was kind of just weighing the same things. There was some upsetness about the cost, but there was also, I made some decent points that kind of go against the cost a little bit. Just the fact that these games are going to be playable on modern consoles is a plus, just for anyone that's not looking to pirate these games or spend $200.
Yeah, I mean, that's your choices, right? Like your options are buy a secondhand original cartridge, which will be very expensive. Buy the official release, which you don't get control over what that price is, although it could always go on sale if nobody's buying it. And that's going to be $20, and it's going to be digital only. Or you can buy a reproduction cart, which is technically unlicensed distribution.
Yep.
Because that person was not licensed by Game Freak, Pokemon Company, or Nintendo to sell you that game.
Pretty much. And like I said, at least with this way, you pay the $20 and that game's on your Switch, until your Switch dies, or until you remove it. It's not part of a subscription plan, once the NSO's gone and there's no way to go online,
it should be tied to your Nintendo account. Now, that's not, airtight, foolproof, but even if your Switch dies, right now you would be able to re-download it. In the future, you might not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so all these games that I bought for 3DS and the Wii U are still on there. Those services are dead. You can't use the virtual console anymore.
Well, you can re-download, right?
Yes.
On the 3DS. You just can't buy
for now
anything that you didn't buy already.
Yes, for now.
Yeah, and that's not indefinite because eventually that'll go away.
But I would say that before the Switch completely dies, or before they shut down the eShop for those for Switch consoles, the NSO will go first. That'll be the first thing that really let go of. Being able to re-download your digital purchases will take a more priority.
Now, it would be wonderful if the day NSO dies and goes down, they say, hey, we're releasing a patch that just removes the requirement to sign in online to continue playing this. Like, they could do that. That would be a show of goodwill from Nintendo. So don't expect it.
I don't think so. I think they'll go back and they'll make you buy Mario again for $10.
There's no reason they can't. They just don't want to.
Yes. I mean, they could have done that forever ago, but we just keep buying the same.
Well, they didn't have a subscription model before, so.
Oh no, but they.
But I mean, it could be the case that if you want to play whatever's coming to Switch 3, you still need a subscription, but we're just making it so that whatever was on Switch and Switch 2 is now offline playable. I mean, technically you'd get the, 1 week? You get that 1 week gap if you just go offline.
Was there a way that
you can keep playing them?
Was there a way to transfer Wii Virtual Console games to Wii U if you'd already purchased them?
Yes, you had to pay $1 to upgrade to Wii to the Wii U version of the Virtual Console. Otherwise, you would have to boot the game in Wii mode.
I was trying to remember how that worked. It's been so long.
It was a $1 fee to upgrade.
Per game?
Per game,
yeah.
Yep.
Hope you didn't own 80 games.
Or you just only upgrade your favorites.
Leave the rest of them.
Or you just suck it up and boot Wii mode.
Wii mode
That's what I did. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna boot it in Wii mode. And of course, the real thing that bit me in the butt was I wound up selling my Wii U. I still have my Wii, and now all my Virtual Console games aren't on it because I transferred them all to the Wii U.
Yep, there you go. That's a problem too. That's what I'm saying. So Nintendo will maybe offer a half-cooked solution to moving NSO off of Switch later, but there's no telling what that's going to look like.
Who knows?
These games, though,
they at least have an account system now.
Yes.
That's actually a bit of an upside that they're outside the NSO ecosystem. Yep. At the very least, if you have an intact Switch that you already downloaded on, you're good to play that just like any 3DS eShop game I can still play right now.
Yep. That's what I was saying. That was the second plus that I gave to this argument whenever we were talking about it in Discord. So those two things are nifty. I'm glad that some people that didn't get to play this now have a chance to play it. And that, if I do choose to buy it, it's mine. However much mine it can be, it's mine. That's all I got for Pokemon.
All right.
You ready to get out of
here? Yes. We don't have much of a community couch. We shared some of what people were saying generally on there, but the community couch is just a reminder to our listeners. If you're in the Discord, the community couch is always open. You can always drop a question there, and we will add it to the show. If for some reason we forget to add it to the show, just at me on Discord and tell me to add it. I usually make the notes. And if you're not in our Discord, what's wrong with you? You should be in our Discord. Then you can get access to my exclusive artwork of Deus Guess Machina, who has a Famicom disk system for a head. That's what I based his head on. Yeah. It's a Famicom disk system.
All that computing power.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the RetroLogic podcast. We are proudly part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. If you like what you hear, you can check us out on Blue Sky at retrologicgames.bsky.social. You are also welcome to jump into our friendly and non-toxic Discord community, and links to that are also in Blue Sky. You can find everything also on our website, which is it still retrologic.games? I think it's like retrologic.squarespace.games now or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Dan said he set up a redirect from retrologic.games, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll throw the website in the show notes, though.
Okay. So, yeah, see you there, and we look forward to hearing from you. Let me know why I'm wrong and Mega Evolution Pokemon are the best Pokemon ever.
There's a Mega Charizard fan out there somewhere.
There's lots of Mega Charizard fans. That's why there's 2 Mega Charizards. They know what they're doing.
Alrighty, let's get out of here.
Good night.
Bye.